Another edition of Husker Chat Live. Sean Callahan with Husker Online. As always, Husker Chat Live, a product of ABM. As we're pleased to be here today and got a new edition, special edition here of Husker Chat Live. Got a couple of 2023 top high school prospects from the state of Nebraska joining us here. We've got Omaha/Elkhorn, Nebraska native Maverick Noonan joining us on right now, and then Lincoln, Nebraska's own Malachi Coleman. Guys, welcome here to Husker Chat Live.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Well, guys, you both of you are so unique with just your story and recruiting, because number one, very few Nebraska high school athletes get to go through the full process like you guys are doing, where you can actually take other Power 5 visits and kind of go around and really go through this process. And I know for each one of you, it's been a little bit different. Let's get right into it first. Malachi, you visited Nebraska for an official visit not that long ago, and you've been to Oklahoma. You're going to Michigan. You're going to USC. What's it been like for you to kind of go through this process, which I know at times probably can be overwhelming?
Yeah, it is a little bit overwhelming at times, but you only get to go through this once, so you got to sit back and kind of enjoy it. And so that's why I kind of like it. When it does get overwhelming, that's why I kind of lean on my parents a little bit. They help me out with the recruiting process as well. But overall, it's a good thing.
Well, Maverick, for you, you're going to visit Stanford here coming up, and you've got an Iowa visit. You've been to Nebraska for an official visit. You've got a number of Power 5 offers and opportunities as well. I mean, kind of what's been your mindset going through this process?
Yeah, so for me, it's just basically kind of winding down and taking my officials, trying to find which school is best for me, really. And so I hope to get done with taking these official visits. So yeah, like you said, I got the Stanford, Iowa. I'm probably not going to take it in June. That might be a later date thing. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one's better, comparing schools by taking these officials, and that's kind of where I'm at right now.
So to clarify, Maverick, I know we had you scheduled for, I want to say June 24th at Iowa. Are you looking at maybe rescheduling that for later on, or?
Right. Yep.
So Nebraska, Stanford, Malachi, you've been all around. Malachi, let's talk timeline first. I know a lot of people want to know kind of what your thoughts are and kind of your process and kind of how you're going to go about your visits and kind of what your timeline is moving forward.
I'm still going to keep it the same. December 15th is what it's looking like still.
And for you, Maverick, you are going to graduate early at semester. So I know for you, timeline is important because you've got to kind of get your academics and everything in line and make sure the school you pick, you meet the requirements to get in. Kind of give us an idea of your timeline and kind of your process right now.
I sort of just hope to make a decision by the time I get done with all my officials. So, sometime this summer would be great. If that doesn't happen, I mean, that's all right. But like I said, yeah, sometime this summer, most likely.
I think for each of you too, your recruiting processes were very unique. I mean, Malachi, a year ago at this time, nobody knew who you were, and now you're the number one guy in the state, and you have as many Power 5 offers as we ever seen. How fast did it? I mean, do you go back to that Friday Night Lights camp a year ago, kind of when that was the first time people saw who you were, and did you have any idea your life was going to change that quickly?
No, to be honest, I had no idea really what to expect. Like, I never done any of the testing before. I never really I kind of just gone out there and played football. Like, I didn't really practice none of that stuff. But no, I did not expect any of this to come over out of it.
And for you, Maverick, when you were a sophomore, I mean, you weren't even necessarily a starter to start the year. Then by the end of your year, I mean, you came in and all of a sudden, you picked up a lot of offers. And I know Nebraska, I believe, was your first offer, and your Husker legacy. I mean, a lot of people know that. Your dad was a first-round draft pick here, All-American level player. I mean, go back to the beginning of your recruiting process, and you weren't really well known, obviously. Not a lot of sophomores are. I mean, go back to that moment and when Nebraska offered you first, how quickly things picked up for you.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I wasn't really chasing the offer. I just kind of played football, worked out because I loved playing football, And when I got the call from Root, I was just surprised. I never really thought it could take me that far. It wasn't really one of my major goals. I just love playing the game. So it was just it's a great feeling in that first offer, really.
Who do you guys lean on for advice? Like, I mean, this is a tough process for both of you. And, you know, Malachi, I mean, you've got a lot of people probably DMing you, texting you, asking questions, kind of wanting to know what's going on in your mind. Like, who are the people that you really trust in the process now to kind of go to for advice?
Mostly to my parents, and then I have a club track coach. He made it to the NFL too. Like, he was in the Olympics too. Like, he understands me. Like, he knows what the process is like. So I got a couple people in my circle that understand me, and I can lean on them when I'm going through this.
How about you, Maverick? I mean, when you look at your process, like, who are some of the people and you know, people that you lean towards and kind of go to go kind of how to handle this process?
Similar to what Malachi said, just my parents are really big helps. Like, they help me. They're going to help me decide which school is best for me and which one to commit to. So yeah, they've been good helps.
What's been for both of you guys? What's been your favorite part of the recruiting process so far, Malachi?
Just building lots of new relationships with people. That's probably been my favorite part.
How about you, Maverick? I mean, what's been your favorite part so far?
Similar to what he said, also officials. Officials are fun. Just they roll out the red carpet for you, so that's always fun.
All right. What's been the worst part? I mean, when you think about, like, when you wake up in the morning and you think about recruiting and kind of what you deal with every day, like, are there moments where you're like, God, I hate this part of the day. Like, this is the hardest part for me to deal with in recruiting. I just can't wait until this part of recruiting is over with, Malachi.
Sometimes people try and overbuild a relationship with you. Like, so I'll wake up and just trying to get to school, and I got like 20, 30 calls already. Like, I'm just trying to be a kid, you know. Like, I got priorities outside of football, you know. And it just comes overwhelming. Like, it came to the point where I told coaches, like, you can contact me one time per week. You contact me outside of that, and we're gonna have issues, and we might not shut down further my recruitment with you guys. Like, you know.
How about you, Maverick? What's the part of recruiting right now that you're kind of ready to be done with?
It does get a little overwhelming with calls and texts. It's also kind of tough just to kind of say no to schools because those guys are great people, and maybe you just don't fit them. You have to say no to them. That's always tough. So,
like, what is it like for both of you in terms of, I mean, is it mostly texts and DMs, or, I mean, are the phone calls pretty big too? I mean, how are coaches reaching out to guys like you right now, Malachi?
Text, DMs, phone calls, FaceTimes. They be trying to get me on Zooms too. It's just everything.
What's the strangest place you've taken a FaceTime call, Malachi?
I was naked in the locker room. I just got my phone. I'm in a towel. I started getting FaceTime. I looked at it. I'm like, bro, I'm not answering this.
What school was the coach from?
Am I allowed to say?
You're not going to say. I think
Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
It was Penn State.
What about you? I mean, do the coaches, Maverick, that recruit you, I mean, do you get like weird FaceTime calls? And
yeah, if I'm in a weird spot, I just won't take it. I'll just let it ring. So yeah,
ring out. But are most of the people you deal with, are like they texting you or call? I mean, how is like the teams that recruit you the hardest? And I mean, is there one team that communicates with you the most right now over anybody else? Maverick?
Oh yeah. No, Lincoln probably texts me and calls me the most. I mean, I got like all the defensive coaches calling me, so definitely Nebraska. Yeah.
What are you guys looking for? I think that's a question a lot of people get. Is it the school? Is it the major? Is it the positional fit? Is it the position coach? Is it the conference? Is it the location to home? I mean, there's so many layers of recruiting, I think, that all of you guys deal with. And I think everyone's answer is different what they want. Malachi, when you look at the process and kind of weigh all of those things, like, how do you weigh those things in this process right now?
I'm going to school not to play football, but I'm going there for, first of all, my academics. Like, I want to know that they have good academic support. They have a program that's going to get me where I want to go. I want to be able to walk out there with my bachelor's degree at least and work on my master's. I want to know that they have good mental support, so they're a good team. helped me because a lot of people do deal with depression and that stuff in athletes because it's a lot of pressure. And then I want coaches care about me outside of football. Like I want to know that they're good human beings and that they're gonna take me under the wing, basically be my father figure for the next couple of years. You know.
What about you, Maverick? I mean, there's a lot of things with Stanford, Iowa, Nebraska that you have to weigh. I mean, you got distance, you've got education, you've got obviously a legacy connection at one school. There's a lot of things there. I mean, how do you kind of sift through all those things?
I just looking for a good academic school, great coaching staff, strength and conditioning staff, nutrition. Pretty much all those are big parts of it. Location. It would be nicer to be close to home, but that's not too big of a deal. And then the legacy, that doesn't really have any correlation with my decision or anything. But so just a combination of all those things, and then just which I can see myself being there for 4 years or whatnot. It's a big deal.
Being for both you guys, being from Lincoln and obviously Omaha and a Husker legacy, how often do you get asked about Nebraska? Like Malachi, when you go out and about and Lincoln and people are talking to you, how many people to say, are you going to Nebraska? Or are you, I mean, just being from here, I'm sure it's something that you deal with all the time.
Yeah, no, it's gotten to the point like I never liked going out in public in the first place. I wasn't that type of guy, but like I can't even walk into Shields anymore without like signing stuff and taking pictures. Like it's changed so much for me, and I try and be respectful about it a lot. And like, because obviously it's gonna be people's first time, maybe the only time they get to meet me. So I'm gonna make sure I'm respectful to them. But it becomes very overwhelming very quickly.
How about you, Maverick? When you think about just all, I mean, being from Nebraska, Husker legacy, how often, I mean, do people just say you're going to Nebraska? Or just ask you about Nebraska constantly just because of the connections?
Yeah, lots of my classmates, teammates, even teachers ask me that too. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of weird at times, but I'll let them ask me. I don't really care.
We're talking here to 2023 in-state recruits from the state of Nebraska. Maverick Noonan, an edge player, Malachi Coleman, an athlete. And let's talk about positional fit. Maverick, when you talk about where you want to play, I mean, is it as simple as I just want to get to the quarterback? I mean, what do people tell you as far as positional fits, and where do you want to play?
I mainly just want to play on the edge. I want to be rushing the quarterback, being an edge rusher, and just sacking them. Really, that's what I love doing. I love throwing pass rush moves on people. So if I got to play that in college, that'd be great.
And Malachi, I feel like you could play about 17 positions. I mean, what when you think about your best fit, what do you think it is, and how many different positions have you heard people say that you could possibly play?
To be honest, like I don't really care where I play as long as I'm on the field. And I got offers to play DN, outside linebacker, receiver, tight end. Like it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna be on the field. It's just gonna be who's gonna get me, you know.
So, like Nebraska, are they recruiting you as a wide receiver?
They're still gonna use, but yeah, you obviously Mickey be pulling for me on the offense.
And what's Oklahoma recruiting you as?
They want to be tight end.
Tight end. So, and then you got to gain a lot of weight to get to tight end weight, probably, right?
They said they don't want to put that much on me, get me up to like maybe 225, 230, and just let me roll.
Wow. And then you've got Michigan. What are they saying?
Outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. And then USC. What are they saying?
Outside linebacker.
Wow. So yeah, you've got tight end, receiver, and outside linebacker. Quite a bit. And for you, it doesn't matter. I mean, just the best fit is what matters. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk timeline now, guys. As we continue our conversation with Maverick Noonan and Malachi Coleman, Maverick, what is your timeline? Like, I mean, are you hoping to have this all done in the summer? Is that the goal?
Yeah, that'd be the goal. Just hopefully after my officials, I'll know and compare the schools to each other, and I'll know by then.
And Malachi, for you, you're going to try to get all 5 visits in. So, and you're not, I mean, I think what's unique about you is you're not worried about signing in December. Like you can sign in December, but you don't have to, right? Is that correct? So for you, what is your timeline right now and kind of your thought process?
Right now it's still December 15th. Like, I'm gonna take all my officials. I'm gonna make sure that when I pick this college, it's gonna be the correct one for me. So
December 15th, that's the Wednesday signing day in December. Is that I don't have a calendar, but is that the day you want to do it on?
to be honest, I did. I just have a random date I threw out and ever since.
You want like ESPN, you want the live coverage is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. CBS, there'll be a lot.
Oh, so CBS has already said that they'll air your deal on that day live. That's kind of what you've looked at.
Yeah.
And are you in an all-star game?
Yeah, I'll go play in the American
in San Antonio. And Maverick, are you looking at any all-star games right now?
No, I'm not. I don't really want to do any. So
get hurt, the injury. Yeah, no, you're saying, well, guys, hey, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate both of you taking the opportunity to come on here with Husker Online ABM to talk about your recruiting process, because both of you guys have such unique stories. In-state high school Nebraska kids with a lot of options, a lot of Power 5 opportunities that are out there right now, and I think it's educational for a lot of people to kind of hear what you guys deal with day to day. So we appreciate you taking the chance to join us here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, well, that wraps it up with Maverick Noonan and Malachi Coleman for Husker Online. I'm Sean Callahan.